views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to Mainstream-metaphysics-radio, harnessing our connection with the universe to effect change for optimal success and happiness. Are you looking for direction with your relationships, business, purpose, or simply life? Well, you're at the right place. Named one of the country's top psychics, Eve now brings her insights and gifts to this weekly hit call-in show, joined by visionaries, leaders, gifted others, but mostly you. Get ready for a slice of life's journey, Eve's objective guidance, tarot, readings, and the momentum you need to move beyond whatever crossroad you're stuck at. Now here's your amazing host, Eve.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mainstream Metaphysics Radio, harnessing the power of the universe for happier living. My name is Eve, the MBA psychic from Elite Tarot, in a totally zen mood here today. Thank you, Benny, for captaining this cruise ship, and thank you to one and all for tuning in. Now, I have to tell you, I'm geeking out a bit today, as my guest, who I will be bringing on in just a few minutes, is someone I respect and admire so much. I feel as if I actually know him, as I've heard him in my ears through his guided meditation CDs, which are wonderful, and ones I recommend to clients and friends alike. I'm talking about the inimitable Peter Russell, who is the person when it comes to anything meditation related. In times of change such as the one we're in right now, tapping into tools that are in your power is so important. We all have the ability to meditate to calm the mind, yet something so basic as this can actually be extremely challenging to do. This is why I wanted to have Peter on to talk about this tool ever present in our cosmic tool chest and how to use it. In the second half of the show, I will be doing a one-card tarot card reading for callers and then turning it over to my guest for his unique insight from a meditation perspective. If you're feeling stressed, disconnected from your life's purpose, at a crossroads, trying to bring healthy love into your life, we can look at it all through the lens of the reading. If you're interested in a reading, give us a call at 800-930-2819. That's 800-930-2819. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. Just a brief bit about who I am and my approach. I'm an intuitive coach and professional tarot card reader who works with clients around the world in helping them tap into their own power to effect change for optimal success and happiness. In addition to personal readings, I also do readings at events nationwide, such as birthday parties, baby showers, corporate retreats, bridal showers, you name it. Last year, I was featured in the book Top 50 Psychics and Mediums in the United States, which was such an amazing honor. If you're interested in scheduling a session or inquiring about an event you're hosting, you can find me at Elite Tarot, which is ELITETAROT.com, or mainstream-metaphysics-radio.com. I always like to come up with a tarot card that talks to the theme of the show, and the card that came to mind today was the Four of Swords. Now, in this card, you see a person lying down, clearly in a posture of being at peace with this world. The intention is fantastic. However, as he lies still, getting into the zen of the moment, there's a picture of three swords looming over his head, representing anxieties and worries, which is enough to send the brain into worry and stress mode. Meditation is an art that needs practice, as our minds are constantly in motion. With meditation, we're able to find the peace in the midst of brain activity in such a way that we're able to look at potential obstacles and challenges facing us, perhaps from a new perspective. As a result, the benefits can be tremendous for mind, body, and spirit. Let me introduce my guest who can talk to this a lot better than I can. Peter Russell is a fellow of the Institute of Noetic Sciences, the World Business Academy, and the Findhorn Foundation, as well as an honorary member of the Club of Budapest. His training includes that in mathematics, theoretical physics, computer science, and experimental psychology. In 1982, he coined the term global brain with his 1980s bestseller of the same name, in which he predicted the internet and the impact it would have. His other books include The TM Technique, The Brain Book, The Consciousness Revolution, Waking Up in Time, and so many others. He also consults on corporate programs focusing on self-development, creativity, stress management, and sustainable environmental practices. Well, welcome, Peter, to Mainstream Metaphysics Radio.
Well, thank you. Lovely to be with you, Eve, and thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Oh, I am so honored that you are here, and I have so many questions about meditation because I know I feel better after I meditate. I know I need to do it, and yet I always struggle with it, and I know that my experience is not alone. So I want to ask you a lot about meditation. Before we do that, can you just share a little bit about your spiritual journey on how you ended up focusing so much on meditation?
Yes. I started off, spiritual journey, I started off as a child totally just done with religion. I think when I was about 13 and I went through the process of confirmation in the Church of England, I suddenly realized I was meant to believe all this stuff. I thought the Nicene Creed, I believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth. I thought just something you chanted in church. I didn't realize you had to sign off on it and believe it. And at that stage, I was, a budding scientist, fascinated by science and mathematics, and I thought religion has no role for me in the world. And for the next, 7, 8 years, I pursued my interest. I went to Cambridge. I was studying mathematics there and theoretical physics, some of the things you mentioned. And yet, I was always, in the back of my mind, I was always interested in the mind and consciousness. Even when I was at school, I was having debates with fellow, children at school, like, does consciousness come out of the brain or what? These sorts of questions. I was always interested in the more sort of philosophical side of things. And I came to a point where I realized that however much physics I did or mathematics I did, it was never going to answer the question of why are we conscious? Why are we aware? And this is a great paradox. It's like, we've evolved out of, hydrogen originally, hydrogen moving into other elements, and gradually evolving into conscious beings like ourselves, able to do the mathematics and study the universe. It's like we are the universe studying itself. How had this happened? And so I moved initially into psychology, thinking if I understood the brain, I would understand more about consciousness, but it didn't really help. People weren't really interested in consciousness. I learned a lot about memory and neurophysiology and all of that stuff. And I realized the way you explore consciousness is not by sticking electrodes on the brain, that sort of thing. It's by exploring it yourself, by looking into your own mind. And the people who were good at that were the spiritual adepts, the yogis, the monks, the ascetics, the people who sat down and looked at their own consciousness to see how it was working, which is really, the essence of meditation. So that's how I got interested in meditation, realizing that there were these people who'd found these ways to study consciousness, to study the mind. And so that was really the beginning of how I got interested in meditation. And I started off looking at a few things, but ended up with TM, which I found really worked. TM is transcendental meditation. And that just really gave me such a deep experience and understanding of meditation that it became part of my life from then on. And
I love the fact that so much of what you're talking about is something that we all have the ability to do. And that's what is so wonderful about it. But I guess before we go on, I always like to let's come up with some basic terms. What exactly is meditation? It's one of those things that we really should know because it's used so much. But what does it actually mean?
Well, it's difficult to do that because it's what I call it's an umbrella word. It covers many, many different things. And so it's difficult to really give a single definition of meditation just because there are so many different practices with so many different goals in mind. On one level, that like there's meditation in the philosophical sense where you meditate upon an idea, you think about it, but that's not the sort of meditation I'm interested in because that's still thinking. Then there's various practices to develop certain states of consciousness or states of being or insights or experiences. But again, that's not something I'm so interested in. What I'm really interested in meditation, and this is just sort of one use of the word, and it's what you've been pointing to, is ways to allow the mind to settle down and come to a state of quiet, and so that we can drop in closer to our own sense of being. So I think so much of the time we are distracted by the world. Almost everything in our life is pulling us out into doing, into thinking, into engaging in the world. And for me, meditation is taking time to do the exact opposite and disengage from all of that and settle back into ourselves. So that's the sense in which I'll be using the word meditation, is just as a way of basically allowing the mind to settle down so that we can just come back into a quieter state and just come back more in touch with our own nature rather than, being out there in the world the whole time.
Yeah. Well, and I love how you put that. And I think that so much about meditation, though we talk about, it's almost like it has the dual purpose. One is being able to really delve into our own consciousness. But when we come back, I want to get into some of that other part in that it offers so many amazing benefits on so many different levels. And so you get two for the price of none, where you can delve in and you get benefits at the same time. We'll talk about this after the break. We're going to take just a quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking more with my guest meditation expert, Peter Russell. Plus, we'll be doing readings later on in the show. You are listening to Mainstream Metaphysics Radio. We'll be right back.
See the moon roll across the stars.
Bree Gibbs is a fourth-generation high priestess with the knowledge to raise your vibration and conscious creation. Offering a wide variety of services from goddess light and shamanic healing seminars to private reading sessions, Bree works with you so you too can stand in your own power. Isn't it about time you took your life into your own hands? For more information about Bree's services and products, visit silvergaia.com. That's silvergaia.com.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
Awareness is universal. Establishing a living awareness through meditation brings peaceful, healthy, and creative well-being into your everyday life. The practice of living awareness, Spirit Fire's own meditation practice, is built on this belief and is designed for every level of practitioner. Each year, Spirit Fire hosts living awareness meditation retreats that allow you to explore the practice in depth at our retreat center in beautiful Western Massachusetts. Introduce yourself to meditation and the practice at the Foundation's retreat. Attend, in silence, a silent meditation retreat focused on mindfulness, presence, and nature, or be engaged with the meditation sittings themselves at the Deepening Retreat. Start adding to your awareness and attend a meditation retreat designed to cultivate consciousness in your everyday life. For details on attending a Living Awareness meditation retreat, visit upcoming events at www.spiritfire.com.
Do you want to heal your body and mind? Your body has a lot to tell you if you just learn to listen to your intuition. Audrey Michelle, host of Rewired Life Radio, can help you peel away the layers that are holding you back from living your best life. Tune in to Rewired Life Radio. Learn to love, heal, celebrate on Transformation Talk Radio every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Connect with Audrey at audreymichelle.com.
You, yes you, can be the highest version of yourself. Wellness coach and natural beauty expert Dr. Agnes Frenkel is on a mission to help you play the game of your life. Win in vibrancy, health, and beauty. Because you deserve it. Dr. Agnes goes beyond the limits in her personal coaching sessions to revolutionize health and wellness. Now is the time to unleash your true power. For more information, visit dragnesfrankel.com.
What you will do. Your life is now. Your life is now. Your life is now. In this undiscovered moment, lift your head up.
Welcome back to Mainstream Metaphysics Radio. I'm Eve, the MBA psychic from Elite Tarot, with my guest, meditation expert Peter Russell. Soon, I will also be doing a one-card tarot card reading, with Peter offering his perspectives on the situation from a meditation stress relief perspective. If you're interested in a reading, give us a call at 800-930-2819. Peter, I've got more questions for you, but before we get to that, could you please share with our listeners how they can learn more about you?
The easiest way with everybody is to go to my website, which is peterrussell.com, P-E-T-E-R-R-U-S-S-E, double L, 2 L's on the end, not the French spelling. So Peter Russell with 2 L's. People, if you go to 1 L, you've got some typo squatter. But anyway, Peter Russell with 2 L's. And that's my website with hundreds of articles, and there's lots of meditations and audios and videos. And if you go to the meditation section, if you go to the top menu bar, you go to the meditation section, you can find my meditation course and some short meditations and things. But there's lots of other material there of just my thinking over the years. And even some of my books are online on my site. So, yes, go to my website, peterrussell.com.
And that website has so much information, so I definitely encourage people to check it out. Right before the break, we were talking about how meditation can help kind of explore our own conscious brain. But that, while that is a wonderful benefit in itself, meditation can offer so many other benefits on mind, body, and spirit. Could you talk a little bit about some of those benefits that meditation can do? Why meditate?
Right, yeah. So this is really important. I'm glad you brought this up because it's one thing, it's lovely to be able to sit down and meditate and just come to a much quieter state because it's much more enjoyable and peaceful. And that's what we're all looking for. It basically is how to be happier, how to be more peaceful. So meditation does that instantly. But as you point out, I think the real benefits of that are how it affects us in life. And there's so many ways it affects us in life. I mean, just for start, just sort of coming, out of a meditation, just feeling that much quieter, we're in a better place to actually approach the world rather than being, if we're all stressed up and, anxious in our mind. We know we don't always do our best. So just coming from a quieter state of mind, we function better. I think we can tap into our creativity better. We can tap into our intuition better because if the mind is busy, I think a lot of our intuitions just sort of pass by unnoticed. So we can access our mental abilities better with a quieter mind. I also think in terms of health, it's really important because I think we're all aware that stress plays a critical role in so many of our ailments and things, both mental and physical. It may not always be the cause, but it can make things worse or harder to heal. And just allowing the mind to relax, the body relaxes as well. And a relaxed body is able to just undo some of the stress that we build up. So it's really good for just allowing us to shed some of that stress. I mean, I sometimes feel coming out of a meditation is like having had a 2-day, a weekend break in 20 minutes is just that refreshing. So I think from a health point of view, and there's a lot of research done on this, how people basically are much healthier physically and mentally as a result of meditating.
Does it impact, does it impact things like blood pressure or things along those lines?
Yes, absolutely. If we look at what happens during meditation, you find that blood pressure goes down, heart rate decreases, a lot of the hormones associated with stress go down. In fact, meditation seems to be doing the exact opposite to stress. And some doctors have called it the relaxation response as opposed to the stress response. So a lot of the things you find in stress, like the skin resistance going up, that's the thing you find in meditation. It goes down. The breathing becomes slower. There's lots of changes like this, which are quite fascinating.
Yeah, and so many drugs that were prescribed, of course, always check with your doctor before you get off of any drug, but that so often meditation can have some of that same benefit of some of the anti-anxiety drugs and without the side effects.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that's one reason why meditation started becoming so popular in our culture is people realized these benefits, the health benefits particularly, and numerous doctors beginning to recommend to people, I can give you this drug, and it may help to some extent, but what you really need is to unwind, to slow down a bit, to be in a quiet state of mind, and try meditation. And I think this is how a lot of people started meditation, was advice from their doctors or reading about it in the media. It's got a lot of attention in the media over the years for these sorts of things.
Wonderful. Now, when you were talking earlier about what's on your website, you talked about the meditation page. And if someone is just like, I don't know where to start, I just am home all day, or I can't really find the time to go somewhere to meditate, could you talk a little bit about your online meditation program?
Yes. This is a course I put together of 5 lessons spread over 5 weeks, which basically it's an audio course. So you go on your computer or on your phone or whatever, and you listen to it, and you can download it, and it takes you from the very basics of meditation, to just be able to sit and just become more present to what's happening in the body, to step out of the thinking that we're all caught in. And it starts from that very basic meditation practice, and then over the following weeks builds in various other little skills, refinements that really help people deal with things like, dealing with the thoughts in meditation, or how to relax even more into the meditation, and how to become more accepting of what's happening in the meditation. So it's really a progressive course that takes people through to a point where they should, at the end of the course, be very competent, just meditating on their own anytime they want to. And it's got wonderful feedback, I'm pleased to say. It really seems to be touching into something that people really need and appreciate.
And especially if you're just not sure where to start.
Yes. This is a very good starting place. And if you want to even get a taste of that, on my website, there's even a 3-minute meditation I do, which on the website you just listen to, which will give you a sense of where it's going. And then if anywhere on my website, just look for you just go to peterrussell.com, meditate, and that'll take you straight to the course. But any page on my website has a link to the course. It's called How to Meditate Without Even Trying. And the without even trying is really important, because I think the thing that gets in the way for most people when they start meditating is they try to meditate. And if you try to meditate, you're making the mind more tense, more focused. And for me, the essence of meditation is relaxing the mind. And you can't try to relax. They're just so opposite. So it's a skill of learning to step back from our thinking and just come back to being present in ourselves, in our body. So trying this is, I think, the most common mistake people meditate with. Most common mistake people make with meditation is trying to meditate, and it's almost self-reinforcing. They hear from people that meditation is difficult. They haven't got in here with it. I tried meditation, it didn't work, and people say, "Oh, I must try harder." And so you try harder, and it works even less. It's like the harder you try, the less it works. And so people give up or just keep on going for a long time, frustrated. If you stop trying and really get into this practice of just letting it happen effortlessly, most people can drop into a quiet state in just the very first meditation. It doesn't take a lot of practice. It's really about changing our whole attitude to meditation. Because I think so often in life we're told, if you don't succeed, try harder. And that may be true in many areas of life, but in meditation, it's the opposite. If you don't succeed, you're probably trying too hard.
Well, and I think it's that way with so many things. I know with Tai Chi that I will often talk about with clients, if you're pushing against force, you lose. And
yes.
So it's actually about allowing yourself to experience the moment, and with it, you have such tremendous power. You can flip a person 3 times your size, but if you try, you're not going anywhere.
Exactly.
We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll be taking calls for readings and talking more with my guest, Peter Russell. So please stay tuned. You're listening to Mainstream Metaphysics Radio. We'll be right back.
Are you searching? Looking for a sign? A message you need to hear? From the great unknown, from the most mysterious place that is the most familiar to your soul in the depths of who you are. The universe put someone here to talk to, someone God gave a blessing to, that you may find insight with. TheAngelLady.net, 1-800-323-1790.
Did you know that all of the shows on the Transformation Radio Network are available as podcasts to stream or download?
Really?
Check us out. Go to transformationradio.fm. We have business shows, spiritual shows, energy healing shows, and pretty much everything in between. Something for everyone, guaranteed to inspire, educate, and transform. We are transforming the world, one listener at a time.
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Justice Welling. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritualdeed.com.
Interested in deepening your spiritual practice? The School for Esoteric Studies offers online training to spiritual seekers from all paths of life and individual coaching. Our courses synthesize Eastern and Western spiritual traditions based on meditation, study, and service applied to everyday life. To learn more about our courses and services, please visit www.esotericstudies.net.
Discover the healing medicine from the giant monkey tree frog Cambo. Cambo practitioner Ginny Rutherford and professional psychic Todd Rolson have come together for lively discussions of alternative healing medicines from the Amazon. Ginny and Todd bring you Cambo Talk Radio. Tune in each Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific to hear from guests all over the world with real life stories and the medicinal benefits of Cambo. For more information, visit cambokiss.com.
Tune in to the Psychic Professor's Show, The Voices of Spirit Radio, with international medium and spirit artist Dr. Susan Barnes on Transformation Talk Radio, featuring a variety of spiritual topics such as psychic art, spiritualism, EVP, psychic development, and mediumship. This hit call-in show provides listeners with breakthrough wisdom to enliven and enlighten their lives. Visit spiritartgallery.net for show days and times.
Welcome back to Mainstream Metaphysics Radio. I'm Eve, the MBA Psychic from Elite Tarot. You can learn more about me, schedule a reading, or inquire about readings for an upcoming event that you're hosting at elitetarot.com or mainstream-metaphysics-radio.com. If you are just tuning in, I am here talking with my guest, Peter Russell. Before we get to readings, could you just let listeners know who may have just tuned in how they can learn more about you, Peter?
Yes, the easiest way is to go to my website, which is simply peterrussell.com, with 2 L's on the Russell, peterrussell.com. And there's lots there on all my other thoughts and meditations. There's lots of stuff there.
Plus the online meditation course that we talked about in the last segment. So I definitely encourage people to take a look at that. We are going to get to calls. Just so listeners know, I have a candle lit, which is my signal to open a session. I'll be doing a one-card tarot card reading. After the reading, I'll hand it off to Peter in case he would like to add anything from a meditation or stress relief perspective. As I look at tarot as a visual representation of the unconscious, which is on your side and wants you to be happy, nothing scary can possibly come up in a reading. Before I begin, I always like to start with a small disclaimer that I am not a doctor, lawyer, therapist, or realtor, and a reading should never be taken as a substitute for seeking guidance from a licensed professional. So with that, let us get to our first caller, Tiffany. Tiffany, welcome to Mainstream Metaphysics Radio.
Hi, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm so glad you're here. Is there anything you have a question about would like guidance on?
Yeah, I just left a long-time career for 25 years, and I've come into a new profession for about a year. And I'm wondering if it's something I should stick with or if I should look for something else.
All right. Well, you know what? While you were talking, I was shuffling the cards, and a card jumped out. Now, we call those jumpers, and it's just like, okay, you don't need to go more with the shuffling. This is the card. So I'm going to go ahead and read this card for you. And it is, I have to tell you, it's one of the scary-looking cards, but there's nothing scary about it. And it's the Devil. Now, in the Devil card, again, nothing scary. It doesn't have anything to do with an actual devil. But in this card, you see that yin and yang, masculine, feminine, right brain, left brain energy. And yet those two individuals represented in this card are sort of constrained to this scary-looking devil. But if you look at it carefully in this card, their chains around their necks are bigger than their heads, and so they can remove those chains anytime they want, and they are in absolutely no discomfort. This is a card about willful compromise. And so that as you go forth in terms of the career, it's a recognition that if you want the goodies that come with a particular career, perhaps it means that there's some things that you can't have, such as I want to be able to really do my own thing. I want to be able to have my own voice and all of that. At the same time, you have all the power in the world to remove those chains or to say, you know what, no, I need to be myself and I need to honor who I am at my core. But it's a recognition that means that you can't get some of the goodies that come with that as well. It's to make sure that you're clear as you go forth with this new career and new position and everything, that what is important to you is very clear. And I would say write it down. without specifics, tapping into the inner child, what are the most important aspects that you are looking for in this new position? And then, if there is something that is not being offered and yet you want to stay in that role, it's not to just look for it within the career, but rather make sure that you are honoring those needs external to your career. So if you're like, for example, a budding artist, but you're in a position that is great, except it doesn't really tap into that artist quality, it's not to get resentful for the situation, but rather make sure that you're doing your art outside of work instead of looking for it within the structure. Does that resonate?
It does. It does. Yeah, I think it's more a balance between this and family, which is more a priority of mine. So it's finding that. Yeah, it does.
And it's always interesting because it's like if you're, to take a job, let's just use an example, to take a job for money. It pays the bills, it puts food on the table, it allows that structure. But then if we develop resentment as well because we're not able to be our own self, then that's just not, it's kind of wasted energy. It's understandable, it's just not an effective use of energy. And it's challenging when trying to balance everything in there. So it's to really recognize that you're not powerless and that you're placing your energy in the right situation. Peter, is there anything that you'd like to add in terms of how you balance all of that?
Yes. Well, what I find useful is when I have difficult decisions, or not necessarily difficult, but decisions where I don't know which way to go. And it sounds like you, the caller, have something about it. You're not quite sure of the right direction to proceed. I think we have a tremendous wealth of inner knowing, call it intuition, inner knowing, inner wisdom, which can also really help us and is important to bring out into the equation of our thinking, decision-making. And as I was mentioning earlier in the program, I think we can be more in touch with this when our minds are in a quieter state. And so what I like to do is just, sit down and be in a quietish state where don't need to meditate, but it could be through meditation, just to sit down quietly and then look at different options and see which way you feel pulled. And I say feel pulled because these deep intuitions, they can come up as very subtle feelings in the body. Sometimes what I find is, I'll consider one option and I feel maybe my body, like my heart or something, is like pulled forward towards that option. Or I consider the other option and I feel like myself is retreating from it. And that can be, useful information on sort of some of your deeper knowing. It doesn't mean to say you necessarily act on that, because sometimes our deeper knowing can be confounded by other things that are going on. But I find it a useful way to help me make decisions is to see what's coming from inside. Or another question I sometimes ask myself is, I look at an option and say, does this make my heart sing? Again, as a way of getting some sort of information from within myself that can be useful. So that's what I would suggest, is just finding time to just be quiet and considering, whatever it is you're looking at, the question, and if you have different options, and just seeing what your intuition is saying. And it usually comes out as, don't look for something mental. I think this is a mistake that often people make, is they're looking for their intuition, looking for intuition to say, oh, do this, don't do this. I think it's much better just to pause and see what is happening in your body, in your being. See which way you're being pulled. See which option makes you feel more delighted. That's what I'd suggest.
It's almost like a human pendulum. They always talk about the pendulum and seeing where that pendulum goes, whereas you're saying, where's your body pushing you? Where is that energy going? So that you're not kind of overanalyzing to a point where then it's causing that frustration. And I also liked how, and with Tiffany too, it's like that your journey is completely yours. And so it's only you know what's right for you. So I love what Peter said, just really about allowing that natural wisdom and guidance to float to the surface in a way that is less taxing on you. Does that, I hope that's been helpful, Tiffany.
Yeah, that's really lovely. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's really helpful.
Oh, I'm so glad. And please keep us updated and give us a call back.
Okay, I will. Take care, you guys.
Oh, thanks.
Okay,
Thanks so much for calling. Well, I think before we get to the next call, we'll just take another quick break, although we've got about a minute before the break, and then we'll get to our next caller. But I've got to ask you, Peter, always like to say I'm a kind of a type A control freak. I'm in a type A town, everything like that. And I hear over and over again words that I have said myself, which is, I can't meditate. I can't quiet the brain enough to meditate. I know we only have about a minute before we take a break and get to our next caller, but I just got to know, what can you say to them? People like me.
Almost everybody comes up with that. I can't sit down. Partly, as I said before, we're trying to meditate. You've got to let go of the trying. And in meditation, thoughts will come up. You'll have lots of thoughts in meditation. For me, it's about, in meditation, the skill is not to follow the thought. And they will keep coming up. We'll have a busy mind, but gradually, by doing the practice, either practice I teach or some other practice, the mind will gradually settle down. It isn't a question of saying, stop and moving into complete stillness there and then. It's a gradual process that happens over a period of meditation where slowly and gradually the mind settles down into a quieter and quieter state. But you don't have to try. You can't do it. It's something you have to. What the technique does is allow that to happen.
I love it.
That's the shortest answer to your question.
I love it. Well, we're going to take our last break. Kathy, hold on. When we come back, we've got another reading to do, so please stay tuned. You're listening to Mainstream Metaphysics Radio. We'll be right back.
Every day is another opportunity to bring magic into our world and create the reality we want to live. Intuitive Juliana Solovia and the Lady of Light New Age Boutique are here to help you on your journey. Whether you're looking for a reading, a workshop, or a class of the latest and unique metaphysical products or jewelry, the Lady of Light New Age Boutique has it all. Visit inspirednewage.com to schedule a session or class and feel the energy of the Lady of Light.
To see your life from an angel's perspective, book a personal consultation with Claire Candy Huff, angelic walk-in angel Ariel at Angel Healing House. Candy provides intuitive counseling, Reiki, and angel readings in person in Los Angeles or nationally and internationally via phone or Skype. She will channel the practical tools you need to transform your life. Call now, 831-277-3716, or visit angelhealinghouse.com.
Be you plus live your purpose equals joy. That's the motto of Unstuck Joy with Vicki Todd. Vicki believes you were born with gifts that are meant to make the world brighter. Each show will feature an art visioning journal prompt to help you create your way to soul clarity. If you're ready to get unstuck and create more joy, this show is for you. Tune in every month on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit VickiWorldArt.com.
Are you traveling most of your day? Do you want to take Transformation Talk Radio with you anywhere you go? Well, guess what? There's an app for that. Just go to the App Store on your Apple device or the Google Play Store on your Android and search Transformation Talk Radio. Catch all of our live shows no matter where you are. Thanks for listening.
powerful insight and practical tools to support you on your spiritual journey. Access your higher self and tune in every second and fourth Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific to A Life Untethered with Andrew Martin, Walking the Path of Freedom. Andrew is a highly attuned, intuitive oracle, energy worker, spiritual teacher, and international radio host. For more about Andrew and his services, visit thelightones.com.
Get ready to experience Truth Talk Radio with host Deb Acker. Tune in to Truth Talk Radio each Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com to illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. This hit show will leave you feeling lighter and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Visit TruthTalkRadioshow.com for upcoming transformative topics and guests.
If you see the wonder of a fairy tale, you can take the future, even if you fail.
Welcome back to Mainstream Metaphysics Radio. I'm Eve, the MBA Psychic from Elite Tarot, with my guest talking meditation with the infamous Peter Russell. So before the break, we had another caller lined up, so why don't we welcome her on? Kathy, welcome to Mainstream Metaphysics Radio.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. I just bought Peter's meditation course.
I'm sorry, the phone broke up a little bit. Could you repeat that?
Oh, I just bought Peter's meditation course.
Oh, wonderful. Phenomenal. So I cannot recommend it enough. So I'm so glad that you were taking a look at that. Is there anything that you have a question about that we can provide guidance for you on?
Yeah, I'd like to know how soon I'm going to retire.
Well, I'm kind of pointing up to the sky saying a lot of that's above my pay grade because it's out of our power. But what I can do is I can pull a card looking at what is in your power and then you're putting forth additional guidance regarding retirement. How does that sound?
That's great.
Perfect. Well, the card that I pulled is a lovely card, and I love it for so many reasons. And it's the Queen of Wands. Now, I love when clients pull kings and queens because it really talks to your strength. And here you've got this regal queen sitting on her throne, except that this is the Queen of Wands. And wands are about creativity, passion, feeling inspired. And so this queen, she has a giant sunflower in one hand instead of a scepter. She's got a little black pussycat in front of her instead of a snarling lion. She's got a decorated throne. And so this is really about recognizing that your path, similar to what I was talking about with the last caller, your path is yours. And ultimately, it's letting your inner kind of messaging lead the way outward because you have such a creative and unique view on the world, on what you still want to achieve, because let me tell you, you're just getting started, and allowing those passions to decide and dictate going forward, knowing that you are in a place of great strength and ultimately you make your journey yours. So if you want to retire tomorrow, I don't know what the situation is, or if you want to retire in 5 years, 20 years, whatever, ultimately you make that decision, know what is important to you, and recognize what inspires you going forward. But this is a great card. It's really about honoring who you are and letting those passions lead. Peter, is there anything that you have to add to Kathy about trying to make that decision and again about whether or not you intend to retire?
Yes. I would actually sort of take a slightly different angle and say, actually, you can start retiring right now. But let me explain what I mean by that. we think of retirement as like stopping work and stepping back, into leisure, whatever it is, the ideas we have of retirement, of peace and whatever it is. We can do that right now. It doesn't mean to say we have to stop work, but like in the moment, we can retire our attention from being engrossed in the world. And this, to me, is what meditation is actually about. In fact, in one of the lessons in my course, one of the advanced lessons, I talk about it as retiring, that meditation is retiring. It's like a daily retiring. We're retiring our attention, we're retiring our mind from its engagement in the world and coming back to just being quiet and being at peace in ourselves. And that's what that's what we're looking forward to with retirement. So you can start now in sort of having the essence of retirement in your life, even though you're still working and engage in whatever you're doing. So leaving that question of when you retire from your job aside, you can also retire every day. Have a little bit of retirement every day. That's what I would suggest.
Oh my gosh, wow. I love that.
I love that too. That's great. Thank you.
Oh, our pleasure. Kathy, I hope that's been helpful.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks so much for calling, and happy retirement today.
Yes. The first day of your retirement. Welcome to the first day of your retirement.
I love it. Thanks so much for calling, Kathy. Oh, gosh, I just absolutely love that. Peter, we always talk about meditation and all the benefits, especially with, like, for example, for Kathy, who's considering retiring and all of that. But what about for children? Can meditation be helpful for children? And how do you quiet a child enough to meditate?
Right. Yes, I think it can be helpful. I mean, I know a number of children who are now adults who started, when they were children of various ages. And I think it's really helpful for them. It's just helpful for anybody just to sort of center themselves. And with children, you don't sort of ask them to sit down for 20 minutes and do some practice. But what you can do, and I know someone who's doing this with kindergarten children, is you just ask them just to, pause for a moment and notice what they're experiencing. Notice, what are they hearing? What are they seeing? What are they noticing in their body? Just asking them those questions for a minute or two, and just to be quiet and notice that. And that's really, the essence of meditation is becoming present to your experience in the moment, rather than whenever we get into our thoughts, we get into the past or the future, we get into worry or excitement, whatever. And really the essence of meditation is, to say, just becoming present. So with children, it's just asking them just to sort of pause for a moment and just, you don't say, and now be present, but just say, what do you notice? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you feeling? It's just a way of getting them to step back and begin to just appreciate the value of just being more present. So you can start right there. And I think it's a very good training which will help us all the way through life. And then as children get older, you can have them, sitting for 5 minutes, or with teenagers. I often find teenagers love to sit, with an adult for, a full meditation session once they get the hang of it.
Wow. Oh, that's so neat. Oh, wonderful. Now, and for you, what is next for Peter Russell and on your ever-evolving journey?
I don't know. I know where I am now. I never know what's next. My life has just unfolded by synchronicity and surprise. So I don't know what's next. What I know is what is now. What is now for me is really, which is sort of the essence, I think, of nearly every spiritual tradition in one way or another. It's that exploration of I, that exploration of what do we actually mean when we use the word I? Not the I am Peter Russell, writer, blah, 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 but I, when I say, I am aware of this room. I am aware of my thinking. I am aware. What do we mean by the I that is aware? And that's not an intellectual pursuit at all. It's really, this is for me in deep meditation, just exploring what does the word I actually refer to in my experience. that sense of I that has been there all my life, from when I was a kid, teenager, yesterday. It's that same sense of I-ness. What is that? To explore that, to inquire as a personal inquiry, say, not intellectually, but it's like looking into it. What does it mean? What is it?
Wow. And I would love to hear what that entails and what you've found out. I hope you'll come back. Peter Russell, thank you so much for being on this show. I can't believe the hour's gone by so fast. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to our healing show on Mainstream Metaphysics Radio. Thank you, Benny, for running this show, and thank you to one and all for tuning in. It is such a blessing for me to be able to do this show each week, and I look forward to next week's show. Please join me every Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, with peace and love and gratitude. See you back here next time.
You've been listening to Mainstream Metaphysics Radio with your host, Eve. Join us Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com to harness the power of the universe for optimal success and happiness, as Eve continues to take metaphysics mainstream. Until then, learn more about Eve and Elite Tarot at EliteTarot.com. That's EliteTarot.com. See you next week.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.